So we do these trainings every 6 to 8 weeks for our Ignite Mastermind group, where I teach a 3 day intensive training. There's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 people in the room here with me that came to the house to listen and participate because I like people to be around. So sometimes I want to see the reaction of the people in the room, but they're watching my ugly mug on a big screen TV while sitting 5 feet from my ugly mug. So God help them. But we'll go to the crowd in a minute and the presentation. But these are done, like I said, these are done about every 6 to 8 weeks. I do a workshop like this. We've taught things like print on demand, newsletter publishing, AI servicing, all sorts of things. I'm kind of a weird animal in this space. I've sold about $1 billion worth of product online over my career online, which is about 300 years. I started this about 250 years before there was an internet. Um, it feels like, but I have sold about $1 billion worth of product and services. And really, this workshop is particularly important because the way that I made my money in the past, frankly, is not working very well anymore for me or anybody else. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Everything evolves, markets evolve, methods evolve, tactics evolve, and the way that we buy and the way that we're influenced and really the way that we make decisions um, has really, really, really changed. So we were battling it for a while and then we kind of fell into the groove of it and now we're really getting it. And we had at our last driven uh, workshop, we had a handful of people there, younger, um, marketers and pros that were there. And these guys are just crushing it 50, 100 million, $200 million, $500 million a year, $500 million a year. There was one of our guys, I'm guessing he's 35. Eric, would you guess Eric's about 35, Angie?
Yeah, he's around 35 or 36 years old.
Yeah, I think they're doing 350 million to 500 million with a bullet right now. And they've just found a different way to make offers, and it's very, very different. And that's kind of what I'm going to walk you guys through today. And so hopefully you guys can pick up on what all these other folks are doing, and over time, guess what? That won't work anymore either. you know, that's the way that that's the way that this market works, and it's moving in hyper speed now. It has been for the last 20 years. Ever since I've been online, everything's moved at hyper speed, but it's really moving at a different level of hyper speed now, and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to teach today out of a mind map. So half of you guys that are here are Ignite members or Driven members. Ignite's our mastermind for people who haven't yet reached $1 million gross revenue in their business. And our Driven Mastermind is a mastermind for people that are well over 1 million. Most are around $10 million or more. So those people on here. And then there's about 100 or so guests on here that bought the workshop independently. Driven and Ignite they don't have to pay for these things. It's part of their membership. But there's about 100 or so of you guys on here that are paid guests, and we welcome you. And Ignite, give all the guests a big howdy, if you would. Can you unmute everybody at the same time, Trish?
Everybody feel free to unmute.
Yeah, well, you can't. Then that's not the way it works. Can you just hit a button and unmute everybody, or not?
We can't.
No,
Harry.
we can't.
Okay, because I'd love to have everybody to say howdy to the guests, but that's okay. In the chat, if
Howdy.
you would, just say howdy.
Hey.
We got some nice.
Hi.
Welcome.
Harry, you might as well stop talking.
There you
Great to
go.
be here.
You did this.
You got your birthday wish.
All right, everybody on mute. Everybody on mute.
Bye.
All right. So it's funny. So what are you laughing at? Shauna, everybody knows Shauna in this group for the most part. She's sitting in our room with a few other guests today. So God help me. Okay. So that being said, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. I'm going to be teaching out of a mind map, which I've never done before. So let me figure out how to share. I'm requesting the ability to share. Got it?
You should be good to share now.
And can you guys see a screen that says Primal Offers on it?
Not yet.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hold on, let me fix that. Oh, excuse me. There's why. Now, can you see a screen that says Primal
Okay.
Offers?
Yes.
Okay, let me show you guys, just for what it's worth, what you're in for. I can't even get it all on the screen. So we have a lot of ground to cover. If you don't mind map, I don't know how many of you guys mind map. Most of you, some of you. If you don't mind map, you should be mind mapping. Mind mapping is an amazing tool, but I've never taught out of a mind map before. So this could be absolutely disastrous. We'll see. Okay, so I just ate some little vegetable over there that made me cough my head off. Okay, so what are primal offers about? What we're going to be talking about today is a way to speak to the caveman brain. Why are they primal? Because most of you, most of us, me included, over the last however many years, have been marketing a lot with really attention grabbing, strong copy, right? I've been a copywriter for years, so I've made a lot of money from this. We've been triggering things in people's brains that grabbed attention. And from that attention, then we went on to sell them things. And this has been what we've been doing, for some time. But we've generally been talking to the wrong brain. Now, I've been turned on to this principle for about 5 years. And I think it's really one of the reasons that my career, when a lot of people that came up around me, came before me, came after me, are gone. I think a big part of the reason I'm still around doing what I do is that I understand how to talk to the right brain in somebody's head. And there's a really, really big difference in those things. But what I'm going to teach you today is going to really sum up to one word for you, and that's power. A lot of the stuff that I talk about in here, I can't talk about with ChatGPT or with Claude or with any of the AI agents because they won't let me. They say that it's, they don't feel comfortable. This seems like you're manipulating people. And in a way, we are. Frankly, that's it. Salespeople are always manipulating people. So you can manipulate people for good or for evil, right? If you're talking somebody into doing something that's good for them, I don't see that as manipulation. If you have a good friend who's sick and really should go to the hospital, and you trick them into getting into the car to go get ice cream, and then you take them to the doctor, I don't think that's manipulation. I think that's being a good friend. And I don't know, is this can I do the picture in a picture thing where they can see me and the slides, or is that possible? Does anybody know how to do that?
Is the slide a PowerPoint? Because you can do video over top of a PowerPoint.
Nah, I just thought we could do it over screen share on Zoom. If you can't, that's okay. I need to, Shauna, will you do me a favor and hit that OK button on that other computer to OK that yeah, you do whatever you want to with it. So, okay. So, yeah, this can be used for good or it can be used for evil. And I swear, that's fine. Yeah. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but I really want you guys to try to focus on the most ethical ways to use what I'm teaching you here, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because it's just going to work better and it's going to make your career last longer. I could trick people into a lot of things, and you guys know the way that I sell when I offer something to you guys, I offer it very calmly. I don't push it. And, I always say it's either hell yeah for you or hell no. And I think that's the reason why I've been able to last so long in the business, because I haven't really pressed people with everything I have. And I'll explain why that one modality has burned up so many people in the industry and why it'll burn up you if you let it. So what you're going to learn today is going to give you an immense amount of power, more than anything I've ever taught this Ignite group, more than anything I've ever taught the public, to be frank. I met a guy named Evaldo Albuquerque. Sort of met him through, he and I were with Agora at the same time. Evaldo came here from, I believe, Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, spoke Portuguese, no English, watched cartoons and learned to speak English, got a job at Agora writing copy for the Agora company's financial publishing company that's over $1 billion a year, financial newsletters. And within 24 months was the #1 copywriter at Agora. And ended up, I think, what I heard, making more than $10 million in just royalties for writing copy while barely speaking English. So how's that possible? It's because he only spoke to the caveman brain. He didn't speak to the normal brain that you and I usually communicate with, that you and your spouse communicate with, that you and your friends communicate with, that you and your business associates communicate with. He spoke to that primal brain, right? And he understood a lot about it. And I'm about to explain to you a lot of those theories. We're going to learn on this training why people do and don't act, right? So really, we're asking people in our business to sign up for a newsletter, to give us an email address, to buy a small product, to buy a big product, to get on a webinar, to do whatever it is that we want them to do. There's a decision-making process there, and people act or they don't act based on a series of factors. And here's the crazy part. Almost all of those factors are not at all logical. Almost every decision we make is not a logical decision. We think it's a logical decision, or we think it's an illogical decision. The way we think, when we think we're making a decision, guess what? We've already made the decision, right? It's an absolute fact. You'll understand why in a minute. And I'm going to show you how you can influence those decisions chemically with tactics. So your brain has chemicals in it. It has drugs. Your brain is on drugs, right? Remember that? This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Dude, everybody's brain is on drugs, especially Shauna's. Shauna's on some psychedelics that we'll never be able to identify. But everybody's brain's on drugs because your brain produces drugs. Your brain produces peptides, right? And right now, like GLP-1 drugs are peptides. A lot of these GLP-1 drugs like semaglutide and tirzepatide and the diet drugs that people are on, they operate in an area of the brain we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But that area of the brain normally stimulates drugs. If we do drugs, if we take hallucinogenic drugs, for instance, or if we take stimulants, all we're doing is kicking up the production of that chemical in our brain, because we can be stimulated with adrenaline that's naturally produced depending on the situation. And we'll talk about how you guys can use those chemicals to help convey your offers. And what you're going to learn here that's really, really, really cool is you're not going to have to be clever anymore. You're not going to have to sneak your offer into a story or any of that. You can be very, very, very upfront and transparent with people in today's market, and you need to be, about what you have, right? And what it's going to do for them. And you'll be able to make much more honest offers this way. But the order in which you make them is imperative. And that's really what we're going to get into. And you'll find out what you'll need to do that. I'm going to give you some GPT tools, some custom GPTs that I've coded that help me with this as we go through the process. And I think that we're going to share one right now, right? Angie or Tricia, do you have that GPT to share?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So what this is, let me tell you what this GPT is really quickly. We're not going to use it right now. This is more for you to use tonight to play with, but this is my primal marketing strategist. I use one like this. I just recreated this one today for you guys. I use mine all the time Because when I have an offer to sell, I go in and say, I want to sell this. How can I sell this to the primate brain? How can I sell this to a caveman? Right. And it's going to tell me what triggers I can use, what triggers I can't use, give me flows and things that are very primitive. And at first, they're going to seem odd, right, to you, because it's a very different way of approaching a sale. But you should be able to go to a page that looks like this. Can everybody get to that okay? Yes?
Yes.
GPS signal lost.
Okay, cool.
There is a
So everybody's saying they can get in?
yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you'll have that for tonight. I would say this gives you something to do tonight. So that'll be part of your homework tonight, is going into some of your offers that you're already making, or some of the offers you already have made, and try to figure out how can you make those offers appeal to the caveman brain. So here's the flow that we're going to go through over the next couple of days. We're going to talk today a lot about why marketing is not working, why we're out of flow with the audience. And what's crazy that I'm seeing right now, and you guys should see it too, the people that are successful in the business right now are wildly successful. They're posting tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And they've just figured out how to get in flow with the current way to make offers, when some of us old fuddy-duddies aren't, right? So I want to talk about why it's not working and how we got there, because we've done it to ourselves. Marketers are our own worst enemies. What is working? I'll talk about what is working and how to get into that flow, and how to convert the offers maybe you've already got that aren't working as well as they were, or if you're just now creating offers, how to not create them following old advice, because I'm telling you right now, you're banging your head against a wall. If you don't believe me, ask anybody that's been in this business for any period of time that's running pay-per-click ads right now and trying to make a living the old-fashioned way. It is very, 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 very difficult. It's never been harder. It's never been harder, but it's never been easier, I don't think, if you are in flow, because you're the 1/100th of 1% that's going about it in a different way. And that's what we're creating here today. I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step flow. So all day tomorrow, we're going to be going through exactly how to craft an offer, every single step of the offer process. What I need to get through to you guys today is theory. If you don't understand the theory of why it works, you're not going to understand how to execute on the flow, right? And then on the, let me see. And then on the third day, we're going to apply this to sales letters, VSLs, emails, webinars, live speaking events, etc. And we're going to pull your offers up. So if you've got offers that you want to pull up, and I can review and edit those offers to correct them as much as I can to work in today's market, I'll do that on the third day. So, and then we'll go through all the things, the pitfalls to avoid where you don't screw this up, pitfalls and mistakes, because it is a nuanced science, right? I can walk you through this and tell you, oh, the caveman's scared of this. Well, if you just say boo, you can't do that. You got to figure out a way to nuance these messages, and we'll walk through that, but you'll learn a lot more about that later. So the current state. So this is where we sit today. People are faced with somewhere in the neighborhood. Are you ready? 9,000 to 10,000 decisions a day. And the average entrepreneur is faced with around 35,000 decisions a day. Now, these are just things that are flashing before your eyes, right? So when you take that back to, today, I think if you have like direct TV, there's something like 1,600 channels or some craziness, cables like 500-600 channels. When I was a kid, it was 3, 6, and 12. You got ABC, CBS, and NBC. NBC was out of my metro, was out of the big metro area. That was out of Paducah. We had the NBC station. Cape Girardeau, Missouri had the CBS station, and Carbondale, Illinois had the ABC station. And you could watch any of the three of them you wanted, you know. And at any given night, a third of America was on one of those channels watching TV, you know. And it was very easy to build brands. There wasn't so much signal. Today you got 1,500 channels on TV. And I think the last I read, 31 million YouTube channels. 31 million channels, not videos, 31 million channels on YouTube. Not counting the hour and 9 minutes a day, I think the average American is spending right now scrolling through video reels on TikTok, Instagram, etc. So decision fatigue is enormous. The idea that you're going to flash an ad in the midst of all that, grab someone's attention and sell them something in the next 5 minutes is ludicrous, right? But that's the way most people are still approaching it, right? They're selling one thing, one way, one message, one platform, one geographical area, right? This is much more about building tribes. I said a year ago in Driven Mastermind, and it's turning out to be